grab that link to go back and watch the playback later. And then I'll also put that link inside our private unlisted VIP group on LinkedIn. So if you can't find that link someplace else, you can go into the group and find it. All right, there we go. We are now live on YouTube and we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome. Good morning. Delighted to see all of you. I'm going to let this loop in the background a little bit while I say my welcome comments for today. And I'm going to let you all know that right out the gate today, we are going to start with some profile reviews. So here's what I want you to do before we even do introductions. I'm going to hold off on those for a little bit. I want you to go into chat right now. If you would like your LinkedIn profile reviewed, I want you to type the word profile in all caps, and I'll go in the order in which you put that in there. So profile in all caps if you'd like us to do a profile review. Do not be shy. If you would like your profile reviewed, this is a great time to get some feedback real time. We'll pull your profile up on screen. We'll give you some pointers. We want to help you to find that new job, the next job. So don't be shy. I see Lisa just put hers on. So we're going to go ahead and start with Lisa, and then Joan will be after Lisa. So we'll do a couple of these. I'll do these for maybe we'll go to about 10, 20 or so on profile reviews, and then we'll start to go into Q&A and other discussion points as well. So let me go back to, let's see how I have to do this. Oh, sometimes I find it confusing when I'm not, when I'm in the driver's seat and I'm trying to do all this stuff. There we go.
Sue's on the call too now.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so who do we have that can help me? We're going to start off with profile reviews for today, and then we'll do introductions in a little bit. So Sue, I'm going to make you a co-host. I see Mindy is on. I'm going to make you a co-host as well. And if Kenneth jumps on, if someone could let me know, and we'll have him give some thoughts. Thank you. I appreciate it. And Lewis has been helping to admit folks in the room. For the other co-hosts, if you see folks knocking on the door in the waiting room, feel free to admit them into the room as well. So we're going to start off with some profile reviews today, and we're going to start with Lisa Vitale-Hess. So Lisa, as I'm going to get your profile, could you please unmute yourself and introduce yourself? Remind us, what is your targeted job title, geographic area, and then also tell us how long have you been in career transition?
Hi, I'm Lisa. I've been in transition. I have a job right now, but I've been looking for a year. I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do, but I kind of figured it out. And I'm looking for nonprofit development, management, volunteer services, that type of thing. I'm having a hard time because that's not what I do now. So I'm trying to transition from retail management to that. And it's taken me a bit of time.
Okay.
So that's
all right, awesome. So retail, when you're in retail, I want to think about, first of all, transferable skills. What are the things that you do in retail that you could apply into nonprofit? And that's your homework assignment for this weekend, Lisa, to sit down and think about what are the skills that you have gained in your role within retail that would apply into nonprofit. First thing that comes to mind to me is helping people. When you are in retail, you're helping people. You're helping your team members, you're helping your customers, you're helping management, you're helping the company. And then let's jump right into your LinkedIn profile. So what you just told me is you want to move into nonprofit. What I'm seeing in your headline says community management, social media management, leadership. Let's build strong community relationships. So tell me, Lisa, how visible can you be that you're looking to shift into nonprofit? Do you need to keep this a bit quieter, or is this okay to publicly put in your LinkedIn headline, for example?
You know, at this point, it's okay to put in there. They don't know I'm looking for a job, but I want to move on. So I need to do.
Okay. So do you have any experience working in nonprofit yet?
I have volunteered for years and years and years. So I have that type of experience. I volunteer at the zoo. I've been there for 25 years, maybe.
Okay. I'm going to interrupt you and ask you the question again. And this time you're going to say, yes, I have over 25 years of nonprofit experience. Okay. Lisa, do you have any experience working in nonprofits?
Yes, I have over 25 years of experience working with nonprofits.
Did you all notice that just now, what just happened? We just changed the way that Lisa responded, and we gave her confidence. We gave her the ability to give herself permission to say, yes, I do. Whether you have been paid or not, you have experience in nonprofits. You have served as, in a volunteer role. You don't need to justify it, explain it, or downplay it. Yes, I have experience in nonprofits is what you need to say. Mindy, I want to see if you would like to add any thoughts there, and then we'll go to Sue next, and then we might come back to the LinkedIn profile again. Do you have any advice for Lisa, Mindy? You're muted. If you don't mind unmuting, Mindy. I see your lips are moving. I can't remember the name of the artist. Who's that artist that said my lips are moving? I gotta remember it. Go ahead, Mindy.
So Lisa, have you taken a look at job postings that you would love to have?
Yes, I'm applying. I get to like the second round and then I don't make it past that time.
Okay, so what I would recommend is think about the job postings of jobs that just your dream jobs and look at the keywords in those job postings. And then I want you to relook at your headline to make sure that your headline is spot on with things that they're looking for. So
Okay.
I don't know if the jobs you're looking for are super looking for someone with community engagement. I just don't know. Maybe that is something that they're looking for, but you want to make sure that your headline is something that is searchable. So you want the keywords, and I think it looks like you have a lot of space here anyway in your headline. You want to make sure that your headline can be searched for the jobs that you're looking for.
Okay.
So do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
So social media management, if that's not something you're looking for, then that shouldn't be there. But if that is something you're looking for, then amazing and great, then you should leave that there. But you need to look at the job postings to see what they're looking for and what matches to your skills and your desires for your future role.
Okay. That's great advice. Thank you.
What was that targeted job title you said you were looking for, Lisa?
Development, community engagement. The last interview I had was for community engagement development, but a lot of it's kind of the same thing, but they just use different words.
Okay, so just think about maybe adding in development and community engagement. Are you looking to help with social media for nonprofits?
Yes, I could.
Okay, so could you say nonprofit social media management?
Okay, yes.
Right? I'm just throwing it out there. Okay.
But hey, throw anything out.
And then here's the other thing, Lisa. Royal Oak is kind of really great because it's central in Metro Detroit, but you may find an employer who is in Southgate that it's a nonprofit in Southgate that has a position, and they see Royal Oak and they say that's too far. They decided, not you. So what I would do if I were you, go into your top header card, click on the little pencil icon in the white area, and then you'll see edit intro, and then go down to location, and where it says Royal Oak, there'll be a drop down. Choose Metro Detroit instead. You can be the person that decides if Southgate is too far. We don't want them to screen you out because they see Royal Oak on there. Before I move on to Sue, there are a few positions I just heard of in nonprofits inside the LinkedIn group. I want to pull those up on screen before we end. So I'm just saying that right now so I don't forget. But I want to move on to Sue to see if you have any advice for Lisa.
I do. I love that you have a featured section, and the first thing I could see was nonprofit related. And I think you need to maybe take a little more credit about it's great to see how this comes together with the work I've been doing. And that leads me to my second point, which is in your about section, the first thing we see in the first 3 lines is what you're interested in, not what you have experience in. You said, I have 25 years of working in nonprofits. Lead with that. Lead with leadership. Lead with verbs that articulate your results. So I would also say your recent focus has been, no, that's what you're working in. I have advanced experience in, or I have been leading a department and mentoring and training. Because when I went down to your jobs, I'm seeing coaching teams that work with other divisions and parts. Then you described lower on in the about serving with a purpose, but you said, I love it, but you didn't say you do it as part of Lowe's. So I think you've got a lot of opportunities to show that you're actually doing it. All right, that's my quick advice.
That's perfect. Thank you. I will adjust that.
Awesome. Thank you, Sue. All right, Kenneth Lang. Kenneth, I know you're joining us a few minutes late. We're starting right out the gate with some profile reviews today.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at this on the phone because that's why.
So any advice for Lisa on her profile? Lisa, could you remind Kenneth too, targeted
Sure.
job title, targeted geographic area?
Development, community engagement within nonprofit.
Are you working right now or are you in transition?
I am working in retail management right now.
Okay. So that helps that. I mean, I'm looking at the profile. I happen to like it a lot. I'm not sure. I don't see any recommendations though. Is there anything that you can
Okay,
either
thank
get
you.
get a recommendation? I don't know if it's still that you have to have recommendations to have 100% complete profile or not, but that would certainly be a way for you to reach out to someone. You could always recommend someone too. I mean, besides the other great advice, that's the other thing that comes to mind as I'm just scrolling down.
Okay.
Lisa, can I give you
I
one
can do that.
suggestion too on your education?
Yes,
Center for Creative Studies, is that the College for Creative Studies or is it a different organization?
it is. They
Same thing.
changed the name. Yes.
So what you need to do is similar to, remember I talked about changing your location, go into the education. There's going to be a little gray pencil icon here.
Uh-huh.
And then when you click on that, where it says the educational institution, delete that out and then type in College for Creative Studies until you see their logo and their name appearing in the dropdown. Then click to select on it. And that way at the top of your profile, it'll show the CCS logo.
Okay.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Instead of the gray logo on here. All right.
Okay.
All right, Lisa. And there's a couple of opportunities inside the private unlisted group that I've created on LinkedIn. I'm going to pull that up on screen right now just to scroll to a few of those as we're talking. And I've worked with nonprofit clients as well. And I have a lot of friends who work in the nonprofit world in Metro Detroit. I'm just going to point out a few of these. And while we're looking, I want to encourage everyone in the group, if you are not yet a member of this group, please go and visit this link that I put in chat. You'll have to request to join because it's a private unlisted group. Unlisted means you can't find it in the group's directory. You only get the link from me. Private means it doesn't show on your profile, and you also have to be admitted into the group. So I make sure that I'm keeping this only for job seekers and trusted resources, people like Ken, Sue, Mindy, people who are supportive of the job seeker community. I don't want people to like kind of jump in and, use this group for the wrong reason. So I'm very selective. But there's a few that are in here. These, I think, are mainly in Saginaw. I'm not sure. I haven't looked through the full list, but Joyce, Johnson, Maples. And Lisa, my advice for you is even if you're not interested in any of these roles, reach out to Joyce. Tell her that you heard that she's recruiting for nonprofit positions. Even if these aren't a fit, if you find others, you can refer to her. And she probably has other friends that work in nonprofits throughout Metro Detroit. So connect with her. And then there's one more for... this is for Rich Castiles. He works for the Guidance Center. They're in, I believe, in Southgate, which is why I mentioned Southgate. And I think they're mainly looking for people that are in counseling, Masters of Social Work certification, that type of thing. I don't know what the other roles are, but I know they're actively recruiting. So there's just two off the top of my head. And while we're in here, I want to remind everybody in the group, please check out the group for job postings. And if you see job postings, please post them inside the group because you can help others that are coming across these as well. All right, Lisa, we're going to move off onto the next person.
Thank you. Thank
today?
you. It was awesome. Yes.
All right, good.
Thank
See,
you,
aren't you glad
everybody.
you were the first person? Like everybody's
Yes,
like,
I am.
volunteer myself, but we want
I
to
said
help
I didn't
you.
want to be greedy because you talked to me about it a couple weeks ago, but I got
Be
a lot more
greedy. That's what we're
information.
here for.
I'm greedy. Thank you
All
so
right,
much,
awesome.
everybody.
Okay, Joan Smith, you are next on The Price is Right, or The Profile is Right, as it were. Hey, Joan, good morning. Welcome. Tell us, what is your targeted job title, targeted geographic area?
Okay, great. Good morning, everybody. My target, my target area is human resources, looking at learning and development or training and development, whether that comes as a coordinator, a generalist, or whatever the title is. I'm in the greater Washington, D.C. area. Okay.
Wonderful. So first thing right off the bat, I am going to give you a suggestion, Joan, is that when you put words and phrases inside your headline, those are ranked pretty high in the algorithm for bringing you up in search results. But if you ever put a word like professional with the pipe symbol right next to it and no space between the end of that word and the pipe symbol, LinkedIn reads it as professional pipe. So it reads it as one word. So what you'll want to do is go inside your headline and put a space after the letter L before the pipe symbol, and then a space before the T in talent, because those words are not being read by search. So right now, the only words that are coming up in search are human resources, HR business partner, talent management, and development specialist. You see what I'm doing here? Training and development. So that specialist is not coming up in there. Learning and virtual global speaker. So any words that you have butted right up against a pipe symbol are not being included in search results. Okay. And if you run into a situation, Joan, where you're like, well, I had to do that because I hit the 220 character limit. Here's what I would do. The word and is 3 characters. Use the ampersand. I don't know if I'm even saying that correctly. The little and thing, that's a symbol, and that's 1 character. So you could gain your characters from using the and word. And I see you have 3 of them inside your headline. All right. So right off the bat, that's one suggestion I have for you. I'm going to go down the line again and see if Mindy, Sue, or Kenneth have any suggestions for you. Mindy, if it's okay, we'll go with you first. Mindy, you're muted. Lizzo, is it Lizzo? Your lips are moving. What is it? I got to look it up. There you go, Mindy.
Okay. So Brenda, I was going to say the same thing. That was the first thing that struck me about her words to, you know, without the spacing. But John, I want to commend you on your about section. I really do like that you have your HR accomplishments there. That's excellent. And I think very, very useful. And I also like the fact that you have a couple of recommendations in here. I'm wondering if you could add like a name of someone who mentioned you like that. At the very bottom of your about section says, here's what others say about me. It might be more effective if you had even a title of the person. So it might be Joan at, you know, ABC Corporation or something of that nature. Okay, instead of just the statements. Does that make sense?
Are these topics though, or are these? I don't think these are testimonials. I think these are topics like what she spoke about.
Here's what others say about me.
Oh, where are we at?
Joan
Oh, at the
is
bottom.
a
Okay,
HR
sorry, right here.
professional. Yep. So I don't know if these reflect your recommendations on the bottom. I'm just scrolling down. Give me a second. Are these reflecting the recommendations that you already have on LinkedIn, Joan?
Yes, they are. I just pulled them out, but I appreciate that suggestion about adding their names because a couple of those people are heavyweights in the HR field.
So that would make a huge difference, because I always look to see who said it. Because you can say anything about yourself, but if someone else is saying it, I kind of, you know, give it a little bit more weight.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
All right. Thank you so much, Mindy. Sue, how about you? Do you have any suggestions for Joan?
I do. And if you can stop right there, Brenda, that's perfect. You can take advantage, Joan, of the fact that you're self-employed by making your own company page and creating a quick logo in Canva or other places to give yourself something that isn't a gray blog that lets you have the gravitas of what you're doing. 1 and 2, I go back to leading with using words that show what you deliver. So instead of an HR trainer charged with, that's like saying my responsibilities were, what did you do? Who delivers remote and in-person events to 10 to 30 people or 10 to 100, whatever. Give people some numbers in what they're going to see. Give people something to hang on to that says specifics about the training on employee assessed needs and best practices, because the see more right now just says, this is what I was supposed to do. And I'm asking myself, okay, well, what did she do it? She has some pictures there clearly. So take your achievements and put them out there. That's my big comment.
Thank you.
And by the way, Joan, if you don't want to create your own company page, you can link to one of the many company pages that exist on LinkedIn for people that are in career transition. And I'm just going to do a currently seeking. I'm going to look for that one because I know there's a few of them. There's pages out there that are called currently seeking new opportunities. So you could link yourself as an employee to the organization. I'm using air quotes because it's not really a company that says currently seeking opportunities. And that way that would appear instead of this gray avatar, like this pink eyeball symbol thing would appear here. And instead of saying self-employed, it would say currently seeking opportunities. So it's evident that you're not working for that company, but that you are looking, and it avoids the, I don't think you've got the green open to work scarf. So it avoids that, but it still says the same thing.
No, I have mine private. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Sue. So let's see who else. Kenneth, you're next on the profile is right. What feedback do you have?
These are going to be very, very minor things. Under your skills, or your top 3 skills that are listed, they're the ones that you want everyone to see. I just scroll down because people are going to have to go to see more of them, but you want to make sure those top skills are the ones that you want people to see right up front. And I don't know if that's the case or not, because I don't know which skills you want to show, but you see where it says shows all 37 skills. If those are the top 3, great. But if not, you want to move them around so that those first ones do show up.
Does that make sense, Joan?
Yes, it does. Thank you. I'll work on that this weekend. Thank you.
The other question, this is just maybe a minor thing. When I see the speaking of HR, it almost looks cut off at the top. Is there any way you can just move it down or something? Say, I'm looking on the phone too.
You talk about the header graphic here?
Yeah, it's just a visual thing. I don't know if it's a big thing or not. But it's just
I can move it.
I
I created it in Canva. I can redo that. Thank you.
Yeah, but these are very minor things. It's an amazing profile. So I don't want to nitpick too much.
Awesome.
Help yourself.
Thank you, Kenneth.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Joan, for volunteering your profile for a review. We appreciate, hopefully this was helpful for you.
Yes, it was. Thank you all so much.
All right. Awesome. Okay. We'll do one more and then we're going to move into introductions and we'll do Q&A. And if we have time, we'll do more profile reviews at the end. I thought this was a really fun thing. Thank you for the person who said it was Megan Trainor. I'm going to pull up a picture of her and then I'll hold it up next time we have somebody who's muted and we can't hear them. Let's see. Lisa, Joan. Okay. Leslie Kapik. Am I saying that correctly? Leslie, could you please unmute yourself and tell us what is your targeted job title and targeted geographic area?
All right. Hi, Brenda. It's actually KPEC. My printer's going off, so give me 1 second.
Okay. And while Leslie is doing that, if you have a name that either the first name or the last name has people prompting them to say, did I say that correctly? You need to enable the name pronunciation feature on your profile, and you need to do a quick little audio recording telling people how to say it. I'm buying Lisa some time because I see she's scrambling. While she is doing that in the background, here's what I want you guys to do. Pull out your phone right now. I want everyone to do this. Pull out your phone right now. Open up your LinkedIn app. And I want you to go to your profile right now on your phone. Leslie, I'm telling people how to do name pronunciation because this is something I'm going to encourage you to do as well.
Great.
So you're going to open up your LinkedIn app, go to your profile. So I click on my little photo in the left, and then I click on view profile. And then inside that profile, there's a little gray pencil icon in the white area towards the top. You're going to click on that. And now you're inside this white section that says edit intro at the top. Underneath first name, last name, you should see a little thing that says name pronunciation. If you do not have one, there's going to be a blue link that says record name pronunciation or add name pronunciation or something like that. And when you click on that, it'll give you a little record button. You're going to hold down. You got 10 seconds to do so. So what I would recommend is that you speak at a slower rate of speech than you normally would to tell people how to say your name. So for example, for me, if you and I are at an event and you were to say to me, Leslie, how do you say your name? It's Brenda Meller. But in the name pronunciation, I would say it's Brenda Meller. It's like Keller, but with an M. So I'm going to give you any verbal hints on how to say my name with that. Speak at a slower rate of speech than you would if you're in person. You want to like slow it down, enunciate it. And if there's any clues that you would give people on how to pronounce it, include that as well. Leslie, can you tell me your name? How do you say your name again?
Sure. It's KPEC.
Okay. So isn't KPEC a city in Michigan?
I should know that since I live here, but I don't know.
I feel like, or you could say KPEC. Do you give people clues on emphasis on the K? You know,
I do.
KPEC.
I do.
I don't know. KPEC. So I don't know. I just want to give that to you because we want to make it easy for people if they say your name. And if there's common mispronunciations, we don't want to have them stumbling over it, right?
Yeah. Brenda, could you say like the letter K?
Yeah, you could say KPEC, like the letter K.
Okay.
And then in my mind, I'm going to go, oh yeah, like the letter K. That's
Right,
good.
right. To remember. I get
All right,
that all
and
the time.
Leslie, now that you're unmuted, can you tell us your targeted job title, targeted geographic area?
Yes. So targeted job title is much like Jones. I'm looking at learning and development manager.
Okay.
Looking for leadership development, employee development roles. My location is Greater Detroit, but I'm open to travel as well and remote jobs.
Okay. So what you just told me in terms of targeted job title, I'm seeing a little bit different inside your headline. So you want to, if you said, I'm looking for learning and development, I want to see the words learning and development
Okay.
inside here. And you could have multiple job titles or multiple phrases in here. What's P&G? P&G alum.
Procter and Gamble.
Okay. Is that important
It
to
is.
put in your headline?
Oh,
I mean-
I don't know about that. It's considered a blue chip company. I was there for a good long career. So,
But it's
given
on,
that
it's in
my-
your experience section.
Mhm.
I don't know. I because I'm like P&G. What is P&G? Like in the back of my mind, I'm like, I probably should know what that is. And I'm not remember. I mean, if it's relevant to your target audience, keep it in there. But I want you to think about your headline field. Put it in priority order. The most important words and phrases go first. The least
Okay.
important go towards the end.
Okay.
You can have up to 220 characters in here. And the headline does follow you around, but usually only the first 60 to 80 are what are viewable when you post, when you comment, or even in search results. So it might be like around this much right here that we see, and then it
Okay.
goes ... So if you say, yeah, the P&G is really important, it catches people's attention, it gets me interviews, keep it in at the top. Don't listen to me. If you say maybe not as much, put it towards the end, keep it in there. But I do want to see at least one of those targeted job titles in there.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to give you
Great.
one thing, and this is just going to be some tough love, some real feedback, if it's okay with you, Lisa, or I'm sorry, Leslie. Your profile photo looks like you took it inside your car. Did you take it
Right.
inside your car?
I did. I need to
We
fix
can see
it.
your back seat. So
Right. I need to fix it.
it is okay if you want to do your own photo on LinkedIn, but here's what I want you to do instead of taking it inside your car. Take it inside your house or a building someplace that is well lit, that has a clean background, that is not in the back seat of your car.
Right.
Headshot photo is one of the areas of your profile that helps to make a positive first impression. I don't want to hire a learning and development leader who works out of their car, and that's the impression you're giving to
Got
me,
it.
right? If you can afford a professional headshot photographer, it's worth it because it elevates the look, and it kind of like just makes you look more like an executive. I know they're a little bit expensive, so some workarounds there. You can go to a photo studio like a JCPenney. I don't know how much they charge now, but they'll give you your photo on disc, and it's better camera and lighting than you could do it yourself at home. Or the other lesser expensive option is go to a place that has passport photos like a CVS or Walgreens, has a white background, and get the photo on disc and upload that to your profile. The cheapest option of all is take it yourself or have a family member or friend take it yourself at home. Just make sure that it is against a clean wall. And right now, Leslie, your eyes are looking where you thought the camera was on your phone, which is not where you should be. You should be looking directly at that camera lens. So you're making eye contact with people as they're taking your profile.
Got it.
All right.
Thank
I'm going to
you.
move along to Mindy. Mindy, do you have any advice for Leslie?
I'm going to unmute first. Okay.
Third time's a charm, right?
I got it now. Okay, so Leslie, I'm going to add something to Brenda's wonderful comments about your photo picture, your profile picture. If you are unsure of which picture to post, so let's say you take 50 pictures of yourself at home and you're not sure, you can go to an app called Photo Feeler, called PHOTOFEELER. And on Photo Feeler, you get to post your picture and people get to post comments about it. It's a great way to get an objective view of what is really good about your picture and what maybe you can fix. So just a quick thought about that. A good way to determine what others would think, really objective people who don't know you at all. A nice feature of the Photo Feeler is you get to rank other people's pictures also to get the freebies. So it's kind of a cool site. The other thing is you might want to look at your background picture. The banner is beautiful. I don't know that it promotes your brand, right? So if your brand and you want to brand, and everything about your LinkedIn profile is who is Leslie, right? What do you want to be known for? If
Mhm.
you want to be known for this beautiful flower picture, then that's awesome. But you're not promoting your brand as much as you could. It's a huge, beautiful billboard that you can utilize for other things. So there's hundreds of pictures. You can go to Canva and just
Right.
and use the template, plug in the words that you want to be focused on, and then just select a picture that maybe is a little bit more brand centric.
Thank you.
Remember, people are very visual. The first thing I noticed when I came to your picture was these gorgeous flowers. And then I thought maybe you were in horticulture or something of that nature.
Got it.
Okay, I want to know really quickly why I'd be looking at your profile. Okay,
Thank you.
my pleasure.
All right. Thank you, Mindy. Sue, any feedback for Leslie?
One consistency and one other recommendation. So in your headline, you say talent development leader, and under your present work as a consultant, and I might consider reframing consultant to talent and development specialist. I think that what's getting lost is your talent development achievements. So even though you did it at Meta Dynamics, you said see below, don't make people do your work for you. Put a summary up there that says continuing more than 15 years of talent development at huge organizations for large groups or senior executives, something that gives me the idea of leadership rather than just listing partnered consultant, provide career coaching. And my second point is you only have 216 connections. I'm not trying to get you to 500, but I certainly know with 15 years of experience, there's a lot of people you can connect with that'll expand your network. So as you make these changes, also think about reaching out to people you want to get reconnected with and can use, and that'll help your feed as well.
Great. Thank you.
Awesome. And related to that too, Leslie, my advice is try to connect with as many people who work in leadership development or training and development in Metro Detroit as possible. Like attracts like. And I remember when I was a director of marketing, I would get approached by recruiters a couple times a year, and I was always happy with my job. And I'd say, no, I'm not interested. But if I knew somebody else who was, I would refer them. So it's a way of growing your network, growing your visibility by doing that technique. All right. So that we did Mindy, we
Hi,
did
Brenda.
Sue.
Brenda,
Oh, yeah.
this is Paula. I just want to kind of interject there. Hi, Leslie. I'm in training and development, training management, leadership development in Metro Detroit. I already wrote your name down. Connect with me on LinkedIn because I have a possible lead for you on a job in the Metro area that I was contacted about for last week that I wasn't interested in, but perhaps you might be. So.
Oh, wonderful. And I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
My first name's Paula.
Great.
And my last name's Frankowiak. It's F as in Frank, R-O-N as in Nancy, C-K-O-W-I-A-K. Oh, F-R-O-N. Sorry, Brenda.
There we
There I
go.
am.
I'm pulling. So have you done the name pronunciation on your profile yet, Paula?
I did not do my homework. That's why I'm not speaking up, Brenda. I was a bad person this
All right,
week.
Paula. We're all going to remember next week to check with Paula, make sure she has it on her profile. All
But
right.
I did do some changes on my headline since we've been here, and I didn't realize about the adding the hashtag part, so I kind of Googled that, and I did that as well.
You've enabled creator mode. Just make sure if anyone has set up creator mode because they want the hashtags, it's so interesting how the longer this creator mode is out there, the more I see this. People like the hashtags at the top of the profile. Well, now what happens is you've changed your default button from connect to follow.
Oh,
So you're going to slow down your connection growth, which is fine. I usually tell people don't move it over until you get to 5,000 because it creates a hurdle. Most people don't know that they can click on the more button, and that's how you invite the person to connect.
Correct.
So if you have enabled creator mode on your profile, you may just want to, in your about statement at the bottom, to connect with me on LinkedIn, click the more button and then click on connect. So give people instructions, and just be careful that you're like once a week, you're looking at seeing who the followers are, because people that click to follow, they might think that's the only option they have, that they can't connect with you.
so do you recommend then taking it off? Because I kind of put it on there to think like, oh, if people are searching for if recruiters are searching for you based on those keywords, it might come up because of the hashtags. But now
Kenneth,
I feel
do
like
you
you're
know
saying this doesn't
anything
really
about
happen.
creator mode hashtags, searchability? I have not seen any data that's saying this is helping with search results yet.
I
Okay.
don't think it is. Andy Foote and I have been bouncing ideas off each other, and we don't think it is searchable.
So I might take that off then.
Yeah.
It's the optics. It's kind of like I feel like LinkedIn does this a lot. It does things that like makes people want to use the new features, but then for whatever reason, it's creating a disadvantage for us on the platform. And
Right.
this is one of the areas like this is slowing your connection growth, your network
Which
growth.
is not what I want to happen.
And you're getting the vanity hashtags and you're like, you think it's helping you to come up with more search results, but we don't know if it is or not. And we as LinkedIn trainers don't know that. So
it might be a situation where when I'm back to being employed, I'm kind of more, I'm always kind of very careful, like who I let in my network, not because I'm a snob, but because there's kind of like, false profiles out there and all that other good stuff, stuff you talked about yesterday, Brenda, on your, so I'm always kind of careful who I let in. So, but now that you're saying like, hey, it might make it a little bit more difficult, I might take those off and put them back on when I'm employed again.
Okay. And I want to go back for just a second to Leslie's profile. And I want to ask Kenneth if you have any feedback for Leslie, and then we'll move on to the next part of our call.
Just a couple of things. First of all, I mean, we talked about the geography. You should probably put down greater Detroit area, metropolitan area. You mentioned if you wanted to keep the flowers, you could put down your about section at the core. I help leaders create environments where people thrive like these flowers or something on top, just to bring it together. I mean, I'm putting a marketing thing on mine. It's like, so someone will see the flowers. Well, I'm look at these flowers. Again, think about it from a marketing perspective. It definitely would get your attention that way. I'm assuming, or I'm going to guess that might be why you even did it. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I just, it didn't. It's Michigan. It reminds me of Michigan, and I really wasn't using it as a branding piece.
But you could keep it up on there, Leslie. Using Canva, you can put that in the background, and then you could put text on top of it that says, growing your organization through learning and development. And then it's like, it's beautiful.
Exactly.
Right.
I would also mention, you mentioned you're looking for remote opportunities. I have no idea where to find that. You don't mention that anywhere. You can't assume people know that. I mean, you can add that in the background as saying you're searchable for remote, and put down your about section, because again, and I hear this from recruiters all the time, they don't know what they can't see or can't find.
Right. Great. Thank you, everybody.
Sure.
This is Paul though. Can I ask something about that though?
Sure.
So, because I'm looking for remote as well, but if we put remote, do we want to have the conversation with the recruiter to see? Because I know someone in my network who, they were going through the job interview process and they were like, this has to be hybrid, and they liked him so much they ended up letting him do full remote, right? So is it a situation where you maybe don't want to put anything on your profile that would hinder you from having a conversation with a recruiter to start with? And then if you did put,
let's talk to our experts. So I'm going to go Mindy, Sue, and then Kenneth to answer that question. Should we put remote on our profile or not? So Mindy, I'm going to have you go first. Do you have any thoughts on that? Should we put remote on our profile or not? Mindy? Did Mindy leave?
Sorry, I did not leave. But I did miss your question. What did you say, Brenda?
So Paula was asking, should she put remote on her profile, or is that something that should be discussed in an interview rather than front and center on her profile, that she's open to a remote role?
I think everyone's open to remote roles. I don't know that I would put that in there. Where is she thinking to put it? In her headline?
No.
Paula, what are you asking?
I don't know. You guys mentioned to put it on the profile somewhere. That's why.
Like, I'd probably put it in the about statement
I would
someplace.
put the about section for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a searchable term. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think
Sue, do you have any thoughts on that, Sue, on remote, putting it on or not?
I just talked to an mentee about this morning, recommending she leave New York City because of connections there and work there, but she wants to work remotely. And I think putting it at the end of your headline, but a few spaces, and then say, remote and hybrid, flexible or something, however you want it. I think make it apparent, because when I don't see it, I'm thinking, oh, this person wants to be in the Detroit area or whatever. Just my perspective and what I work with global folks on.
All right, Paula, was that helpful for you?
Yes, it was. Thank you.
Okay, great. All right, now we're going to shift into introductions. I want everyone to go into chat right now and to introduce themselves. I'm going to type in my little text expander thing so I don't have to type this in again. There we go. Awesome. So here's what I want you to do. Go into chat right now and tell us your targeted job title, your targeted geographic area, and put in your LinkedIn URL. So the reason that we do this is I want you to get in the habit of doing this, and I want this to be like in instinct or like, like a reflex kind of thing. Anytime you go into a virtual meeting, a virtual conference, a webinar, anything like that, and there's an opportunity to use chat, wait about 5 minutes until after the session has started. And then I want you to go into chat and introduce yourself. You never know when you're going to bump into someone in that call who is aware of an opportunity that matches your needs, your experience, your expertise. You don't need to say, hi, this is Brenda Meller, because Zoom already says Brenda Meller to everyone. So you don't need to say your name, and we don't need to hear your whole life story. Like what you do, where you came from, how long you've been at. We're like, we don't need, just target a job title. Hi, I'm looking for a marketing director position in Metro Detroit. Let's connect, put my LinkedIn URL, short and sweet. And then while we are on the call here today, I want you to grab that chat or that introduction of yourself, save it someplace on your desktop. If you have like the little notepad thing, the notepad app or whatever it's called, save it in a notepad or like the Word document, save it someplace so that the next time you're on a call, you don't have to retype it and do it all over again. And I also want you to go through the chat right now. If there are folks that are on the call here that you are not yet connected with, I want you to connect with them. Because this is an easy way to grow our network on LinkedIn. And I'm just scrolling through the chat right now to see if the introductions are being dropped in here. And if you include the HTTPS, it's blue and it's clickable, and I can visit your profile. So I'm just going to pull up a couple on screen here right now. Here's Jeffrey Brace. And I see next to Jeffrey's name, it says first. So that means we're already connected. Let's see who else. Paula, we already had Paula up on screen, but I see first next to her name. Let's see, Dean, just trying to pull up a couple of these as examples here. And I'm also looking for, does anyone have a URL that's not been personalized so I can give some examples there, but it looks like everyone does. All right, so there's your introductions. Now, do we have any success stories? And to end the call, any questions? So if you have a success story, I want you to go inside chat right now, type the word success in all caps. SUCCESS. I'm in my spelling bee right now. If you have a question, I want you to type the word question in all caps, followed by typing out your full question. That way, if we can't get to your question, there may be others in chat who can respond to you. A success story may be, I got a job. I'm not going to be on these calls anymore. See ya, right? It could be, I got an interview. It could be, I'm negotiating salary. I've got counter offers going on. It could be, I'm just starting to be noticed by recruiters. I'm being approached. I'm getting invited to first level interviews and you haven't before. Anything that you deem as success on your path of finding a new job, we want to hear from you because we want to hear and learn from you. Questions related to your job search could be related to your LinkedIn profile, could be related to job search strategy, resume related questions, salary negotiation, benefit related questions, anything along those lines, feel free to ask them. And as I'm waiting for those to come in, I am also curious if there's anyone on the call today that might be here for the very first time. If you are here for the very first time, I want you to raise your hand. And what you'll do is there's like a little bar at the bottom inside Zoom here. Christopher Johnson, I think you're on the call. Can you remind me, Christopher, how we find the hand raising? Because I can't see it on mine right now, and maybe you could help me find out where it's at. Let's stop the screen share.
Always happy to help.
Hello.
So good morning. The hand raise option is located under the reactions, which should be about right here.
There we go. Awesome. So if you are new to the call, raise your hand. And Leslie, I see that you raised your hand. Are you new? And if so, how did you find us?
Yes, I am new and I found you through HR Unite, Brenda.
Oh, yay. Were you at the conference or
I
did you attend virtually? In person?
I was in person.
Oh, wonderful.
And-
Did you come to my LinkedIn workshop, the early morning one?
Unfortunately, I missed that, and I'm so bummed that I did.
It was 7 a.m, you guys. I was up in Frankenmuth doing this presentation, and I had my pie costume on, and it's 7 o'clock in the morning. I came out. I'm like, I got to bring the energy high because these people are up at 7 a.m. to see me.
I caught the last 20 minutes. It was, people said it was amazing.
Oh, good. I think it's in the playbacks too. So if you
Okay.
register for, if you haven't gotten the playback links yet, you'll get it. And then there's a handout. If you didn't get
I got
did you
the
get a copy of
handout.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, good. Well, I'm
Thank
glad you were
you.
there. I'm glad you found us.
Thank you.
Let's see what we have inside chat now that I've given that a second or two to percolate. Evie has a success story. Evie, tell us what's going on with you. Can you unmute Evie? Evie.
Yeah. Sorry.
There we go. Hello. So what's going on with you? You got a success story for us.
I have an interview this afternoon with it's actually a local company, but it's for a remote position for a technical trainer business analyst. I had actually applied to be a tech trainer too, and they were in final discussions with somebody else, and so she found another position she thought I'd be a good fit for. So I think that's a good sign right there that she went like the extra mile to find a place for me or whatever. And
That's awesome.
so this is and I had given up on applying for real jobs for several years actually. So this is the first interview I've had in a significant period of time. So
well, we're super excited for you. Any advice that you can offer to fellow VIP job seekers here, AV, on what led you to get this interview or things that you learned that led you to this conversation?
Santina actually, I mean, I didn't even think about being a trainer. Santina's the one that said, you'd be great at this. Let me give you a link to start applying. And that's pretty much all I did. I really
awesome.
I don't even know, because I mean, this is the first interview I've had, like I said, in several years. So I don't even know if it.
Okay. Can I give you a suggestion, Evie?
Mm-hmm.
So in the conversation today, they should give you the opportunity to ask questions. Make sure that one of the questions you ask them is, what was it about my resume or background that caused you to reach out to me? Because that's going to help you to understand what were the keywords and phrases or skills or whatever that helped to connect the dots to that interview.
Okay.
You're looking for paper?
Well, I was looking for a pen, and now I'm looking
okay. And keep in mind, this is in the playback too, so you can watch the playback to come back to that again later. But again, the question is, what was it on my resume or background that prompted you to reach out to me for this interview?
All right. Thank you so much.
It just helps. And I think it's both confidence building for you, but it also helps you to understand what are those skills or experiences that the employer is looking for that prompted them to bring you in for the interview. So if they say the fact that you don't have a career that's entirely focused in technical training, but that you come from a variety background or whatever it is, then you play that up, for the rest of the interviews on there. I want to see if Sue, Mindy, or Kenneth, and you feel free to unmute yourself and just jump in right now if you have any other advice or thoughts for Evie on her interview coming up. Feel free to unmute. Sue,
hi. Evie, what time are you doing it today?
It's at 2:30 Eastern.
And have you been practicing? Do you feel like you have some time to practice to get over a little bit of nerves and deer in the headlight kind of thing? I assume is it a phone call or a video call?
It's a phone call, thank God.
Okay. Well, that's good. So then my advice is find three things about you that you want to make sure you can emphasize so that you remember specifically. I want to make sure, and this is all telling your story, why I'm going to be such a good trainer, learning specialist, or however they're phrasing it. And use the words that they've used in the job description, but make sure you have those examples for their specific things that you match closely. Thanks for the opportunity to talk, and good luck. We'll be thinking of you later today.
Thank you.
Hi, Evie. Hi, it's Mindy calling. Just congratulations. It's so amazing that you have this interview and this great opportunity. So 2 things. Number 1, I'm going to build on what Sue just mentioned. Storytelling is really, really important in an interview, and it helps you to connect with the interviewer. And so if you have some fact that you want to get across, let's say you trained 1,000 people at the last conference in your particular company. Giving a story around that instead of just giving the facts is much more engaging and helps people remember you better. So if you can build a story into your, and I like Sue's recommendation to have at least 3 stories, because you never know what they're going to ask you, right? So having 3 different types of stories that you can tell, either one to show how you went above and beyond, or one to show your technical ability, whatever it might be, to showcase it, tell it in a story format. That's my one recommendation. The other one is you got to keep your energy level up, right? So even if you're feeling terrified or scared, you want to always be like, have a smile on your face and be really excited, because you're excited about this opportunity, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right. So you want to convey that, right? How excited you are to have this opportunity to even speak to them about this possibility. Okay. Those are my 2 words of wisdom.
I would say one other
Good luck.
thing as well. If you're not sure about how you're going to respond to something, you have to think about it. Just say, can you please repeat the question, or something like that, just to give you some time to get your thoughts together. Or if you're not sure how you're going to do it, because little triggers like that may help you. Don't feel you have to respond in the first 5 seconds. And that's something that a couple of people who actually were on job interviews told me that helped them out a lot too.
All right. Thank you so much.
Sure.
All right, Evie, good luck. We will all keep our
Yes,
fingers
good luck.
crossed. Send good vibes to you, confidence, all the good glowing things in the universe, that you have a productive interview. And reminder to Evie, this interview is as much about you interviewing them to figure out if this is a place you want to work as it is them interviewing you. So go in with that mindset too. You don't want to get yourself in a bad situation. So you want to make sure this is a good situation, a good employment opportunity for you too. So do keep that in mind and keep us posted.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. I see Lewis has a question about how many jobs is too many jobs to apply to in a month. Lewis, tell us a little bit about what's going on.
There we
Lewis?
are. Okay. Yes.
There you go.
I'm
How
here
are
now.
you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks. So the reason I asked is just curious, in the sense of there's lots of jobs out there for people. And in my industry, in the event industry, it's robust now. There's things. So we know how hard it is to get the interview. You got to network, you got to do the things. And I feel like some people have the 40 hours a week, 8 hours a day. That's all they do. Some of us, like me, have to work part-time or a contract. So we don't have as much time. And so I don't want to get overburnt, so I kind of set a goal 5 to 10, but I just keep getting these really good opportunities. And I'm like, oh, I got to go and I got to apply. I got to fill out all the stuff. So I just was wanting to hear from the experts on, do they feel like you should limit yourself? Or the other thing is, oh, I really like that job, but I'm not going to apply. I'm going to go to try to talk to somebody at the company. But then when you do that, a lot of times, by the time you do that, you lose out on the job. It's already filled. So I just thought I'd throw that out there, just because a lot of us are applying and we want to, but we don't want to overdo it and overexert ourselves.
So Lewis, I'm going to start and then I'll flip it to the experts that are on the call. And I'm going to go back to my corporate days when I was applying for jobs. I created an Excel spreadsheet, and this might be something, if you're not already doing this, create one of your own. And like the first column was today's date. So that was like the date that I updated it, and kind of going across for each job. It would be name of company, name of job title, link to the position description. And then I had different fields for date I applied, date they responded back to me or called me in for an interview. And then I might have notes or something else in there, and I kept track of them. And usually when I got to applying to about 50 jobs, that's when I started getting callbacks for interviews. And it was weird. It was like, I noticed this, like, and it's not like I jumped around a lot, but I would notice every time I did this process, it was a couple years apart. It was around job 40 or 50 that I applied for that I would get started to get callbacks for interviews. And then what I would also do is that it would help me to kind of visually keep track of positions I applied for. And if there was something I was really interested in, I would make sure and go back and try to figure out get conversations started with that company, or even just reply back to the HR and say, hey, I applied back on March 1st, haven't heard from you. Is the position still open? I'm very interested. So I would try to keep the lines of communication open until they told me the position has been filled, you're no longer being considered. So it's not always about quantity, but it's also about the quality. You're applying for the right jobs. And I hear you on the, I just like the black hole of job search is what I call it. You apply job upon job and you upload your resume and then you answer the same questions you just uploaded. Then you go through the ATS, then you do a personality questionnaire, and like you get done with the whole thing. And you feel like you've been through the ringer. And then you get a form email that says, thanks, we'll be in touch. And it's like, then you got to do that for another job. So, if you're interested in the position, I don't think there's a wrong number of, there's not like a maximum number. I would say when you start to reach fatigue, you stop applying. And then if it were me, Lewis, I would shift gears. So I'm not just like relying upon applying upon jobs as the route to find a job. Like that's one path. Another path is growing your LinkedIn network, staying visible, getting in conversations, attending events, like all of these other things that aren't as soul crushing. I'm sorry, but it is soul crushing as applying for jobs. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. Mindy, Sue, or Kenneth, what advice do you have for Lewis on applying for too many jobs, or what's the right number of jobs to apply for in a month?
Hey, Lewis, how you doing?
I'm good. And you?
I'm good. So if you are getting interviews and you're being successful in the interview process when you're applying, I think that there's a definite value to practicing your interview skills during this time. And so if you look at the application process as a learning opportunity, as opposed to, oh, I must get this next job, it changes your frame of reference. And it changes this concept of, like Brenda called it, soul crushing. You don't need to be defeated with each person that you don't hear back from, but rather look at it as a learning and a growth opportunity. So I encourage people to apply. If they get the opportunity to interview, amazing. That's a great opportunity to practice your interview skills. It's a great time to ask a question like Brenda mentioned earlier, like what about me prompted you to offer me this interview? And also practicing all that networking skills that we talk about all the time. So I don't think there's any limit to how much you should apply, but if you start feeling fatigued, you got to get on a call like this to raise up your enthusiasm and motivation. And you want to be always motivated when you start applying, for sure.
That's true.
All right, Sue or Kenneth, feel free to pop up.
I don't think there's a right or wrong number when it comes to jobs. I think, you want to have some targeted companies in mind, but I do think relying on the ATS, I don't want to say it's a waste of time, but one thing that helped me in job search is I stayed in touch with 4 or 5 or 6 specific recruiters about things. And we just kind of checked in from time to time because I think the communication is just so important with what you do. And there's really no such thing as a bad opportunity for an interview because you can practice. And I've had bad interviews where I've known after the first couple of minutes, it's not going to happen. So I give myself an opportunity to try things out there that I might not normally try just to see what happens. Because sometimes you learn when you don't actually need to. And I think that's a good thing to think about. You don't want to be overwhelmed. You don't want to do this 24/7. And I actually posted about this. Job search is not a 40-hour. It could be some weeks could be 20 hours, some weeks could be more. It's full time depending on how you use the time.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. And the only reason I asked is because, again, I agree, the ATS is a black hole. You have to do it because companies require it. It was more of you have to do it because that's what they want. But at the same time, we all know about the networking in. You got to talk to people. And so I'm just trying to find the happy balance and, y'all's recommendations on what to do and keeping and staying positive by coming on here is important. I just don't want to overdo it. I am getting the interviews and I'm doing what you and Mindy are saying, the practice. Right. I have had a couple where I'm like, they're not going to hire me, but let me try some things. Let's see.
Sure.
So
Absolutely.
I agree with that totally.
Yeah. Good.
All right, Sue, anything to finish us off here?
Sue had to get off the call.
I think she's
Oh,
off
she
the
did?
call, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do to end our conversation today. If anybody wants to participate, we're going to do a group photo, and I'm going to give everyone to find something in their workspace that illustrates your personality. It could be a coffee mug. It could be a book. Oh, I don't know, social media pie, for example, or it could be a pet. If you are home with a pet, it could be.
Oh no, I think Brenda froze. I think Brenda froze, everybody.
Yeah, she did.
She'll probably reboot. Give her a second if she hasn't figured it out.
Absolutely. And in the meantime,
Yes, there you go,
we
Chris.
can grab our prop. We can grab our copy of Social Media Pie or our coffee mug or however we want to be in this photo. So this photo is going to be in addition to, well, we're still currently streaming. So it will be on YouTube as well as LinkedIn. And it will be a great way to showcase your individual brand as well as your support for Brenda Meller.
You're back,
And it
Brenda.
looks like she's back.
She's back.
Did you guys stay on? No, nobody left, did they?
Yes, we're good.
Okay.
Most
So I
people
see-
stayed.
I see people grab their stuff. So let me just turn off my transcripts because they're up on screen again here. Okay, so grab your personal item. Leslie, what is that adorable? Is that like an apple tree or what is that? That's so cute.
It's actually a tree from a fairy garden from my father who
Aw.
passed. And so it's very
Love it.
special to me.
Now I gotta grab something fun too. I'm gonna grab my little motivational something or other. All right, so I want everyone to
Oops.
So, yeah.
Whoops. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Chris, here we go again.
Well, so, all right, whoever tripped over that cord, please don't trip over that cord. So what we can do is we can take the photo ourselves.
Sure.
That's a
But you
great
won't have-
idea.
You won't have,
Yeah.
you won't have Brenda in it, Chris.
Well, she's
Yeah.
still
Wait,
currently on
there
screen.
she
She's
is.
frozen. Yeah.
She's frozen.
frozen.
She's just not
Yeah.
visual.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And let's see if I do this. Well, what do you know?
She's back.
And Brenda's back.
Now, Brenda, don't say or do anything. Just
Okay.
All right.
Stay right
Don't
there.
sneeze, don't breathe,
Yeah.
nothing.
all right. Hold up your items and on a count of 3, 3, 2, 1. All right, I got it.
You.
Oh my gosh, these are such clever photos. So I'm going to post this as soon as we get off on the call. I'm going to post this on LinkedIn. I want you to reply and tell people what that item is that you're holding up and describe it, how it illustrates your personality or whatever. Have some fun with this. I love, John, was that like a Lego set or what was that John was holding up? Could you guys see that?
Yeah.
It's an RX-78-2 Gundam mobile suit model.
That is awesome.
Everybody should have one.
I mean, obviously.
Imagine,
All right.
if you will,
I wanna
wearing
thank-
a superhero suit when you go into your interviews. You are powerful, you are weaponized in a good way, and then you will go get them.
Oh, I love it. So I'm getting error messages on my Wi-Fi. So I'm going to probably end the call here because I'm worried it's going to like kick us all off. I want to thank all of you for joining us and for making this a part of your Friday. Let's see who is still on the call. Thank you so much to my helpers for today. Mindy, Mindy, Sue, and Kenneth, if you're still on, Christopher for helping us with our Zoom questions as well. And all of you, thank you so much for making this a part of your Friday. Lewis, Lisa, Claudette, Dean, Evie, Jeff, Joan Smith, Joan Strauss, John, Leslie, Scott, Vic, and Wendy. Remember, guys, I believe in you. This is temporary. In the meantime, we are here for you every Friday from 10 to 11. If you ever see a job seeker on LinkedIn posting something about being in career transition, just tag me into comments and I will reply with the link so that they can join us. You can also go to mellermarketing.com/Friday VIP, and there's a link to join. If you join once, you are automatically added to the meetings for the remainder of the year. Have a wonderful weekend. We look forward to seeing you again next Friday. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay positive, and I'll see you guys all again next week. Take care, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.